Welcome, one and all, to another episode of The Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
Tim.
I know we're running a few minutes behind. You should be used to it from us by now. I got some comments. So, Andrew, I did see you on YouTube commenting on a different video. But, yes, good evening to you. And a good evening to Nicole there as well. Thank you for jumping in nice and early and saying hi. Hope everyone's doing well. Tonight we're going to have a chat about the latest from The Darkness, Exodus, and the Omnific. We'll have a few singles to talk about and a few little bits and pieces of news items to talk about as well coming up, and a lot of fun coming your way. We'll do the rounds in a minute, but make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, all the usual shit that everyone gets you to do. Details for all that are in the post or the description, so make sure you like whatever you want to like, comment, get involved, say hi, all the usual shit. That way you get involved and you see more of our shit when it comes up, and you help us get the word out there as well. So don't be afraid to get in here and have a chat with us. A big thank you, of course, as well to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description, so please give them a like, give them a follow as well. And all the links we're going to talk about tonight, they're going to be up there for you in that description box as well. So if you ever need anything, if you can't find it in the comments later on, get around it. I'll get to the hellos with everyone in the comments very shortly. But Tim, how you going?
Pretty good, actually. It's, tired and working hard like everybody else at this time of year, but, getting through it. And, coping.
Yeah. How are you adjusting now? So I'm good. How are you adjusting to life with non-lockdown? Because you were the one that was the most sort of lockdowns cool for you. So how are you coping now that it's the other way around?
I'm a very introverted person. By nature. So I do find it tiring, just kind of being surrounded by people constantly. That's not to say I don't enjoy people. I just like people in small groups.
Yeah.
But it's been it has been an adjustment because I do have some anxiety issues and sort of all that stuff. So it's definitely taking some getting used to.
No, well, hopefully it balances out for you sooner rather than later. You can get sort of back to pre-COVID times mentally in that space.
Well,
it's a different.
The flip side is I get to do things that I like now.
Yeah, well,
so the benefits outweigh the. Listen, like a few weeks ago, we first opened up, it was just, went to a mate's house at a barbecue, I went out to a whole lot of love with Orange, just, had a few drinks. And it's like, I really needed that, just to see your buddies for a bit. So, while, it's more, little things that, kind of irk me up a little bit, but for the most part, it's been good.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's good to hear. Not much to report. Yeah, not much to report. Like it's now that time of year where it's just head down, ass up, getting everything done for end of year production wise. So for the next couple of weeks, I won't get a lot of sleep. There's not much else I can do about it. That's just how it's going to work. It's like that every end of year for me. You've been around long enough now to know what it's like for me. So yeah, it's just that's all it is right now. It's just getting everything done, then getting in maybe a few days of sort of downtime before we actually go to Christmas, and then you go and see everyone family-wise and run around and do your headless chook stuff. But looking forward to a bit of a holiday at the end of the year, just a few days away. Jody and myself are planning that. So that's the eye on the prize kind of moment. So just get through this little block and then we're away. But everything's good. Everyone's happy, healthy, and well. Kids doing their thing. Dogs, one of them's in here doing his thing. The other one's inside of the couch. So everyone's good. Nothing to complain about. Just busy as all hell, which is better than the alternative. So I'm happy with that at the end of the day. Nothing to worry about there. All right. Like I was saying, I get to the comments. So Nicole before said, howdy all. Rowan or Sumaleth on YouTube giving us the horns. As always, thanks for joining us. Shane, good to see you again, mate. We had you in a little filming session last night. So you'll see Shane coming up on Saturday night on Channel 31 and then the week after on Channel 44. Marie, good to see you. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Nudes, good friend of ours, Nudes, on the on the Facebook there saying, dudes, good to see you here. Another regular as well in Dean. Hey, lads, hope all is well. We're doing good. Hopefully the same for you as well. Andrew, yes, you're jumping on the right one this time around to say hi, guys. So hello back to you this time in real time. David Fowler, hi, guys. Good to see you here again, mate. BP, hi, Tim. Cool, good to see you. Andrew Marshall, long way to the top. So iconic. There he goes. I'm old, but I try not to be grumpy. So there we go. Oh, wow. Okay. Dean's coming with the hot fact right off the start, saying anniversary of Michael Hutchins today, 24 years. Rest in peace, legend. Bloody hell. That flew by. Fuck me. Didn't even think about that today. All right. Then BP goes, and Andrew. So, yes, thank you. Good to see you here as well. And Tim, good to see you here. TC, evening gents. We had him in last night as well. You'll see him on Saturday night, and you'll see a bit more of him coming up soon too. Nifty, you're not vaccinated. Thanks for sharing. I don't know what that is. And Shane, please don't shit on the darkness. I'm reasonably confident, but we'll see how we go because depends. Tim and I are either going to go one or two ways. Now we're going to agree or we're going to completely disagree. I don't know which way it's going to go on that one in particular. So we'll see what happens. Knowing us and our tastes, it'll be really, really interesting. I don't know. We'll get there in the end. So stick around and wait
to find out.
Yeah, that's it. We have a rule here behind the scenes, just so that everyone knows it's a no spoilers rule. So don't tell each other what we think of it before we get into it. We actually have in our chat. As soon as someone has a spoiler, it's like everyone just goes no spoilers. So we don't want to know what people are.
Yeah. So when we do a show where we agree with each other the whole time, it's completely unplanned.
Mm-hmm. Same with disagreeing as well, which is more fun. But so yeah, if it's boring or entertaining, none of it's scripted, none of it's planned in advance. We don't know. Which is, on purpose. We do it that way to make it a little more interesting. Alrighty. Going to get to some hard rock happenings. Let's keep moving on. Yeah, Tim, all good to go?
Yep.
Alrighty. So our first single for tonight to talk about is one that I've actually got to give credit to Lee, one of our patron supporters. So if you want to help us out on Patreon, that detail is in there as well. You get just the $2 a month one is a huge bang for buck in terms of what you get out of it, but you can read all that up. But yeah, in the comments and in the description, you're going to find a link for a band called Hitten, and the song is Triumph and Tragedy. It's a new single. The last album was released back in 2018, so it's been a little while. There's a new album coming out in a little bit. Lee found this one by trawling through Spotify, actually, because he was checking out Strikers, one of their playlists, and then he found this one via that, and off you go. So it works for people. Before we get into it, though, Nikki's gone, hello, cheekies. Good to see you here, Nikki. Thanks for joining us. Alrighty, so how'd you go with this one, Tim? Hitten, Triumph and Tragedy.
I wasn't a fan of this, to be perfectly honest. I thought it was oversung in a lot of points, and I thought a lot of the transitions between like verse and chorus and that just didn't really flow. I felt like they were looking to try to do something different, and it just didn't work. It sounded a bit like, this is going to sound like a huge insult, but it sounded a bit high schoolish.
I kind of get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was not a fan. I think for all the bands that are out there at the moment, I think you've got to do better than this to get some attention.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to add to that, or just
not really.
All right. Let's play nice. Now, I didn't mind it. I don't think it's world beating. I think it was long for the sake of being long, though. It didn't need to be as long as it was, because you got that. With about 2 minutes to go, it kicks into a gear, and that could have been done like 2 minutes earlier. You could have made this song like a 4-minute song instead of a 6-minute song. Would have been much better for it. It's not a bad one, but it's an interesting one. I think it's I don't know. Compare this to Striker, for example. I like Striker's one a lot more than I like this one. This isn't bad, but there's better to come out a little once. We're going to talk about it tonight anyway. But it's all if you like it riffy and melodic, it'll make you happy. If not, it won't do anything to change your mind. But if you do, it's good, but it's not going to, blow your socks off kind of thing. But, it is what it is. We'll see how people go with it. Check it out and let us know what you think of it. Andrew goes, I think I've been watching an old episode now on the live stream. Okay, cool. That's happened before. People have jumped into the wrong one and seen how things have gone. All right, on to another new one, which is pretty fresh, this one. And it's from a local artist. So Gelle is the artist. Oh, hang on. Sorry, BP's just asked, couple of days away from Freddie's 30-year passing, any Queen special in the cards? No forgetting Eric Carr as well. we've done Kiss a few times. So don't need to do Kiss again, unfortunately, not to be disrespectful. Queen, we do have some plans for, but I'm holding off on that a bit longer than the 30th anniversary next year. We've got a lot going on, or this year, I think it is, whichever way it is. It's not far away now, but yeah. So, yeah, we had thought about it, but we're not in a position to do any more specials at this point in time. We'll set up and reload for next year, but I think I worked out Queen might be better for the year after, actually, to celebrate the starting point of their career more than an ending that we're going to get. But we'll get to that in due course. You'll find out. Just keep following us, and we will get there. But a Queen special is something that a lot of us wanted to do for a long time. We try and keep things to milestones, so we'll see how we go with it. All right, on to the next single here. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing here. Wrong one. There we go. That's what I wanted. In the links and in the comments, you're going to find a link to a band called Gelle and I Love Playing with Fire, a cover they've put together there. So how'd you go with this one, Tim? It's a very different gear than the last one.
Oh, Gelle from Mercy Kills.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of the Mercy Kills, so I was always going to be open to this. And I think, I use this. We say this a lot when it comes to covers, but it's like when you get a good song, that's a well-written song, and you play it well, when it generally works. And,
yeah,
this is a good song from Runaways, and it works for their style. It's got a nice punky edge to it, and it sounds like, it sounds like a good cover track. I think this will go off live, and I think it's a good introduction to the band. I haven't heard it. I've just heard you solo work before, so I'd be curious to see what else she does. I think she's
I think there's one more out there, man. Yeah, there's one more out there.
Yeah, I'd be curious to listen to it because, as I said before, I like the Mercy Kills, so why not? So I was quite happy with this. This was fun to listen to.
Cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Being a fan of the original is always a good thing, and they did a pretty faithful version of it. You'll also notice Jacinta on bass in the video for this one as well, and she is another regular in the local scene too. So it's a different gear. Like I don't think Natalie's in the Mercy Kills anymore. I think this is just a standalone thing for her now. But yeah, it's been really, I don't know, it's cool to watch her sort of go out and do this one because you still get a bit of the Mercy Kills vibe. So what she brought to that band has carried over into this, obviously, but then she's gone into something different and doing her own thing, and it's kind of cool. I like the attitude. I like how it's a bit rough around the edges. It doesn't need to be pretty and perfect because it kind of suits the vibe to be what it is. And I like how it's just it's going to sound really harsh when you say it feels slapped together, but it's not. It's just got that rough sort of live-ish kind of feel going for it, but it's actually really cleaned up and really well captured. So I liked it. If you like just a straight up, simple sort of edgier kind of a rock song, it's going to do it for you. And it's just a good, well done cover. It's a good original song. And like you said, it's easy to do it when it's a good original song. And they didn't do much to make it hard for them to make it impressive. So they've done it very, very well. Very cool. Very happy with that one, actually. So looking forward to more like you, I think. It'll be good to see you get some more stuff out there. And it'd be fun to go and see that live, actually. Like you said, it'd be good to see that live. It'd be a lot of fun in the room. Old Cherry Bar or something. It'd be a lot of fun in that kind of setting.
That's it.
Yeah. Andrew's gone, saw it through our Instagram, enjoyed it, which is awesome, cool. And Lee, good to see you here. He's gone fun, faithful rendition. So yeah, that's the game of it. It's one of those ones where, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they did a very, very good job of doing just that. All right, we go through gear changes. On to another one. Next up is a band called Crashdiet, which we've covered pretty extensively on the show over the years. They've released a new single called No Man's Land. They've got a new album in the works for 2022, which will be their first since 2019. Yeah, this is a lyric video out there as well. So, Swedish hard rock. How'd you go, Tim?
Just as a side note, what the fuck is sleaze metal?
That's a term, isn't it now?
Yeah, because they've hashtagged that in this video.
Yeah,
but there's not much sleazy about this.
Not this one, no. Other stuff of theirs has been, but not this one. Yeah.
Having said that, I thought it was a really good song. It's just a good European, Swedish hard rock song. I quite like the. I was a big fan of that little half-timey bit at the end of the chorus. That was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really well-written song. I think melodies are fantastic, riffs are fantastic, and if a new album sounds like this, then we'll be all very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, This is the sort of thing that's right up Dave and Nick's wheelhouse amongst us here. This is the sort of stuff they eat for breakfast. But I actually took a minute to grow on with this one. The first listen was like, yeah, it's okay, cool. But then I gave it another couple of spins, like, oh, actually, hang on. Once you sit down with this one a bit, it gets the hook is better than you think, and that little change you mentioned is really cool too. There's some nice chunky guitar work on this one. Yeah, like I was saying, my first impression was, yeah, it's a bit sort of safe, but I had it on just before and was like, oh, hang on, no, there's a lot more energy to this than I initially gave it credit for. So it's one of those ones where if it doesn't quite grab you immediately, it does get better as you go along. With that being said, if it's a single, you'd want it to sort of grab your attention kind of quick, so at the same time people don't grab it and they move on. Well, then I understand that as well. It did the same thing to me, but I persisted and I enjoyed it a lot more. It is just, your standard hard rock out of Europe, but it's got a bit more focus on guitar and less on the synth than you get with other bands too. So it is more guitar driven than a lot of other stuff there.
It's more of an old school metal song than it is a rock song.
Yeah, and that's to do, the impact, the rhythm of it, it's got that pulse to it, I guess, which makes it a bit more dynamic.
And,
more
new wave British heavy metal kind of thing.
Yeah, no. It's good. I understand people don't quite grab it, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. Michael Gelle has gone, hey guys, Shane here says Crashdiet have lost something along the way for mine, which is, probably the lineup changes have hurt them a lot on that front as well. They've lost a few people along the way, which has made it incredibly hard to get any sort of consistency for them. The original old school energy is just gone. I do agree with that. Lee says, typical Swedish melodic rock/metal, similar to Hitten Eclipse, definitely a grower, which is cool. Tim's going to love Crashdiet. This song is great. The band really settled well with the singer after all the changes I had in the past, which is cool. But then Shane also said when I talked about being safe, he said that's a good assessment, very safe. Michael, hey guys, good to see you here as well. Roy, g'day lads, good to see you here as well. And Darren says they were very carbon copy, 80s carbon copy early, but now there's a bit more toughness. Okay, so getting some different opinions on that band, which is an interesting one, actually. So I like that. I like when we're getting different opinions here. I liked it. It's pretty cool. But because there was a double up there. Darren's gone, my typing is bad tonight. Darren, my typing is bad every fucking day. What are we going to say, Tim?
I'd love to see an album of this because then we'd find out, whether they've got they've got it together or not. Because putting together one track's a hell of a lot easier than putting together however many.
And also, I like, even if a song, like even before we talk about the Hitten track and that too, if there's ones that don't quite grab you on the listen, they always have different context in the album as well.
Exactly.
So you get it as a single, but it's always different to take it out and listen to it as part of the overall product too, which I'm looking forward to that one. It'd be good to get it in the context of the album, I think. But I liked it. But we'll see how it goes. The album, I'm very keen on it because I like checking out the band anyway, but we'll see how it goes next year when it comes out. Andrew said, gave it a quick listen. We'll check it out again. Cool. TC has gone, the first Crashdiet will always be the best. I think that's going to be unanimous amongst absolutely everyone that knows the band. Nicole says, sounds pretty good. Yep. And so Lee's gone, Darren, have you been taking lessons from Nikki when it comes to typing? There's some banter back and forth. And Rowan's gone, I like the sound of this single at least. Okay, cool. All right. Well, there we go. Keep them going. Going to move on to another local band now, which is a band called Head of Clay. We've had them on. Played them on the show on TV before and that too. So you might be familiar with this one. You might not be. It's the band is Head of Clay. The track is Dirty Lies, which is in the comments and in the description. It's just a standalone single. This one, I don't know what the plans are in the future with terms of an EP or an album or anything like that. But this is a bit of they've had a softer one before in the past. This one's a bit more rocked up than their previous work. So how'd you go with this one, Tim?
I quite liked it. It was a nice little blues rock edge to it. Almost a bit of. Are you getting a delay with me at all?
No, I don't know. We'll just keep pushing on, see how we go.
But it almost felt like had almost a rose tattoo kind of feel to it. Just a bit, that kind of rolling along kind of blues straight out of the suburbs of the 70s kind of vibe to it, which I quite enjoyed. Handled it quite well. I thought, it was a really good song. It was catchy as hell. Yeah, I liked it. If you like old school pub rock, you'll be all over this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This one, I like the way it sits on the backbeat a bit more. It's got that really rolling kind of feel to it. It's not a driving song. It's more of a cruising kind of a thing. So it's not really hard-hitting, but there's a nice swell and sway to it, which is really cool. You can imagine driving down, roof open down the beach side to an album of this sort of music pretty comfortably. And it'd be good, like it'd be energetic, not sort of, falling asleep kind of territory. But it'd be also just as good seeing this one at the the SB basement kind of thing, for example. It'd work in both settings equally well. It's got that sort of smoky bar feel to it, but at the same time it's got some bite to it as well, just in the way it's delivered. There's a cool little it's all subtle stuff, but the way the riff and the timing is used, and this just gives it that, it's got a nice old school rock and roll feel with a bit of an edge to it, which I didn't mind it at all. If you like, you've mentioned roast a little bit, any sort of Aussie pub rock at all, if that's your thing, give it a listen. It's not the heaviest thing out there by far, but it's a nice solid track that has a knack, I think, because that chorus has got a good little hook in it. It stays with you. And the tones are glorious on it as well. I've got to say that too, which Nicole's just mentioned here too. She's gone really nice guitar sound to it. Yeah, great tones on that one, which really gives it that earthy, smoky kind of tone that I really enjoyed out of this one as well there. But yeah, keep your thoughts coming. Get on to a couple of bits of news here. Oh, here we go. Lee's gone, reminds me of the Bad Loves. Not a bad comparison there. I'll pay that. It's pretty cool. All right. A couple of bits of news to quickly touch on here. We want to acknowledge the passing of a couple of people in the industry first and foremost. And one is photographer Mick Rock, who is responsible for all sorts of fucking iconic covers. If you don't know, just look up the name and you'll get an education real quick. But yeah, that sort of caught everyone out of the blue. I remember when we started chatting about it and everyone's just like, oh, fuck, okay, because that's a bit of a body blow in terms of the history in that. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as you said, it was a bit of a shock for all involved. So condolences to family and everyone left behind, because we know he's a much loved person throughout the industry. So that was a real bummer, that one.
Yeah, I'd pretty much mirror that. I'd say condolences to his family and those that knew him well. It's a remarkable thing when someone can navigate that long through the industry and be responsible for that many pieces of art. I mean, it's another one of the rolling that Keith Richards just managed to outlive somehow. That's that running joke a little bit, but the to have gone through as many bands, as many artwork, all the different shoots he's done, and to still have everyone say nothing but great things, especially in this day and age, about him. Fucking huge. Like, that legacy alone, like the artwork is great, but also the fact that everyone has spoken so glowingly about him too. If you can do both of those things well in the industry, you've done something not many can do. And especially for a photographer to have, been remembered so clearly, it's an aspirational thing that, we don't know him, so you can't imagine the hole that people are feeling in that, especially the photographers that are following. So you've got a couple of comments coming through now, so they'll probably know better than I will in this space. But yeah, what a legacy! And in that context, at least there's something left behind. But yeah, again, just more important than that, just condolences to the ones that that are going to miss him the most. All these sorts of things kept happening more and more as the years go on. Unfortunately, we've got another one to get to in just a moment. But first off, Michael has gone, as a music photographer myself, I look up to guys like Mick Rock, so it was a huge shock for me, which is there. And Andrew says the same thing, never met Mick but inspired by him. And there are a couple of photographers that we both know well. And yeah, it's like for us when your favorite artist goes away, it's a bit of a stunner, that one. So yeah, it's a shame. And on this sad territory, we've got to touch on obviously the passing of Hank Von Hell, from formerly of Turbo Negro, and that one caught a lot of people by surprise as well. And that really came out of the blue. That was really unexpected. But I know that you're a fan yourself, so how'd this one go for you?
Yeah, this was a kick to the guts a bit as well. As you said before, like, when one of your favorite artists dies, it's just I find myself, sort of looking back, and because it sort of reminds you of all the other bands as well that you sort of listen to around that time as well, and sort of all those other stars. Because at the end of the day, music for us is it's a soundtrack to your life, and you associate songs with certain times of your life. So when these sort of things happen, it is a bit of It is a little bit of a downer. So, as we said before, condolences to the family. I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, just look out for each other because we don't know how long we've all got.
That's the thing. When you get a run of them in a week, and we had a huge run the other year. I mean, gratefully this year isn't as bad as other years have been in recent times. But the thing is that we're all getting older, which means all the icons we all looked up to are all getting much older as well. And in the context, again, it's just, the most important thing is condolences and sympathies to the family and friends that are left behind, because they're the ones going to feel it more than the fans on the sidelines. But at the same time, for fans on the sidelines, it means a lot because, like you said, we use music as a way of charting the waypoints of our life. And when an artist like this goes, like, I know a lot of people in the local scene that are fucking devastated by this one, because he's been hugely influential on a lot of people. And whilst I was never the world, I didn't not like anything. I liked everything I heard. His solo stuff was fucking great as well, but just not one of those ones that I really gravitated toward all the time. But at the same time, you can fully appreciate the impact he's had, because you can see the influence that he's had on other people as well, which is remarkable in itself. But yeah, that one really was another one that was a bolt out of the blue, a big shock. And sharing those news pieces on social is always sad. Don't like doing it, but you sort of have to do it. But it's just sort of like fucking it's a shitty feeling. But But yeah, it's I don't know. Like, we're just going to keep seeing more and more of this, unfortunately. And like you said, because none of us know how long we've all got. Just make sure you tell the people you love that you love them, and do all those sorts of things. That's the lesson you can sort of take out of it all, I guess, if there is one. Just be good to each other. It's a especially when it starts happening this time of year as well. It's disaster at that point in time.
Yeah,
I feel for that, because that's a shitty feeling when the first sort of anniversaries or significant occasions after someone goes in your life, they're always the worst ones, man. They suck so bad. But not just us here. Shane's gone. Rest in peace, Hank. So devastating, which is true. Nicole said lots of deaths this day and age. Or on this date, sad day in history. That's true as well. Shane, again, Apocalypse Dudes is absolutely essential listening. So there you go, folks. If you want to know more, check out that. Andrew says, Mick Rock was an absolute icon. His images have shaped so much of my youth and inspired me to no end. There are the shoots that he did, the classics we all know, and then there are the surprise ones like the Motley shoot he did from 1985. Yep. There's a doco out there on him called Shot, which is just incredible and well worth a watch. And Andrew has also said here, it always freaks me out when people younger than me die. That's not a comfortable feeling at all, that one. I don't like that one when that happens. I don't know if that's happened to you often, Tim, but that's not a comfortable one at all.
No, but I sort of had the realization. I've sort of had the realization that, sports stars are retiring at my age.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
When it wasn't that long ago, I was looking up to those dudes.
That's the thing. You've still got that little voice in the back of your head that thinks you can still make it if you work hard enough. And you're like, yeah, I'm 10 years past.
Well, that's it. I know. You realize your favorite player is younger than you, and it's like, oh, a little kid.
Yeah. That's the same thing with the bands too. Like when someone's up there on stage and they're killing it, and you're like, fuck, these bastards are younger than me. And it's like, I love it. It's a good feeling, but at the same time, it's like,
but that's the thing. I noticed that too. Sort of last couple of years ago, where for the longest time, I was always the youngest person in the band, right?
Yeah.
And I turned 30 this year.
Yeah.
And then I noticed a couple of years ago, there was bands of younger people, just chatting me in, and then all of a sudden I realized it's like, holy shit, I'm the old guy now.
That's not a comfortable feeling.
But I didn't realize it until long after it happened, and I was like, no, I thought they were just chatting to me. It's like, no, I'm like the old guy.
Yeah. It sneaks up on you too. It happens real quick. It's 1 minute you're not, next minute you are. It's like that. No, it's a very, very quick thing. We'll move on. We'll have some fun in a minute. I'll get everyone to sort of jump in. There's a lot of fun to be had in just a moment. Before we get to the fun stuff, yes, I know, Shane. Shane's gone days away from turning 40. I'm hearing you. So, yes, you are not far away at all, my friend. So, this is obviously outside of our wheelhouse, but we're going to touch on this because it goes to the heart of... Sorry, before we do, Andrew's gone, okay, call me Gramps. So just in terms of, there's always that tiered societal impact in these sorts of conversations. But a Channel 7 quote-unquote reporter, or Sunrise host, I should say, Matt Duran, was suspended from Channel 7 after he cost them $1 million because he was sent overseas to sit down and do an interview with Adele. And I know this is not in our wheelhouse, but just hear me out. But he went there to do an interview with her. He had an international flight, all that sort of stuff. He got there and didn't even have the courtesy to listen to the album before sitting down for the interview. So the Adele camp have canned it. Channel 7 can't use the footage. It's cost Channel 7 $1 million, and the dude's been stood down for 2 weeks. I've never heard of anything less professional, and I've done some dumb shit. But I've never heard of anything less professional than that in terms of disrespecting an artist when it comes to doing an interview. And you've done interviews yourself as an artist. You know when someone hasn't done the research, don't you?
Oh, yeah. But it's worse than that. So the thing is, right, what apparently happened, like, she called him out on it mid-interview. Like, she would, because, it's an interview. It's a back and forth conversation. Yeah. And he was just kind of bluffing his way through it. And then she eventually apparently went, have you even listened to it? And he just went, no. And that was the end of it. So that was the details that I'd heard. Now here's the deal, right? It was also supposed to, they paid $1 million for this interview. It's supposed to be part of a special. Alongside an interview that she'd done with Oprah Winfrey. They not only paid $1 million for this, but they'd sent him over to the UK with a camera crew and staff, and I'm assuming all their expenses were paid as well. So that's not cheap. And it was also a half-an-hour interview, right? So you can bluff your way through a 5-minute interview, right? You can't bluff your way through a half-an-hour interview. I remember watching when the ABC did that documentary on Luke Longley, they had a half-hour interview with Michael Jordan, which they put the whole thing up on YouTube. And it's like, can you imagine if they had sent a reporter to interview Michael Jordan, who'd not seen The Last Dance, had no idea, who never seen a Chicago Bulls game? It's like you can't fathom it.
No, you can't.
But the worst part is it's not surprising at all. I've looked up, reviews online from albums that we've reviewed, just for bands that I don't know. Sometimes you get an idea, and then you read the review and you listen to the album and you go, this person clearly did not listen to the album. They listened to one or two tracks, and or they've gotten names of band members wrong. Like we've heard, who was it from AC/DC and
they completely. Yeah, I forget the details, but they balls it up completely. They had Cliff Burton in there or something in one article. It was just a fucking mess.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, it's not a surprise. But man, imagine being on a flight to London and Adele's new album goes for 45 minutes and run through it once. Yeah. Jeez.
I don't understand how you couldn't, especially now because you got internet on planes. It's not like you can't. You know what I mean? It's not like it was a decade ago where there was no fucking access. You can do things now. Where's my line? I don't get I'm not. This is not a being a fanboy for Adele, but it's just because in this country in particular, I think we have a problem where the arts just aren't respected as a general rule. Not nearly enough. And this is someone who's on a good wicket, who's got one job, which is to fly overseas, listen to an album, read some bios, read other interviews. You've got 14 hours plus on the plane. You can do this. I don't know what you were doing. And I guarantee you didn't just get off the plane and go to the room either. Would have had like a good night beforehand so I can get some sleep and catch up on shit and then do the interview.
Oh, yeah, you would have had 3 or 4 days in London at least, surely.
You would think so. I've never heard anything like it, and I'm glad that the artist camp has called it out too, because I think it puts everyone else on their toes more. It's like, do the work. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't
Well, because
it.
it reflects badly on her. I mean, if you're managing her, you're trying to portray Adele as a huge superstar.
Yeah.
And when you've got a reporter who comes in who doesn't know what he's talking about, that reflects badly on her. If you're trying to present her as a superstar, and you've got somebody who's even the reporter knows shit about. So that's why, like, of course they canned it. They like you. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't listened to the album, but I'm not going to interview her, so I'm not really worried about it. But it's just, if you're gonna, I just can't.
If I told you in a week's time you're going to interview fucking Adele, you wouldn't need the notes. Yeah. You wouldn't need notes. You'd have listened to all their albums. You'd have gone through all their bios, and you'd be able to recall it back like that because you'd put the work in. Yeah,
it's not that hard to do, especially if that's your full-time gig. Like, that's the part that blows my mind. This is your full-time gig. Fucking
so
moron.
What are they doing when they're interviewing fucking Sonia Kilkenny at Frankston MP? Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's a bizarre thing, and there's a good comment here which I'll reference in a minute, but it's not as though Adele is super niche or anything either. It's not like it's a challenging technical listen. It's not like you're listening to 50 Cent or Dream Theater, for example. It's a relatively comfortable bit of art.
No, there's a few ballads.
It's talented. There's no doubt in the talent, but it's not the most complicated thing in the world to spin. I don't get it. I've never heard anything like it. It's one of the most bizarre things I've seen, but like I said, it goes more to the heart of what not to do and how journalists and media seem to not have a lot of respect for the arts. And the ones that do it really well, I have a lot of respect for the ones that do it incredibly well, because it's not easy to do it right all the time, but when you get a good interview, it fucking feels really good when you nail it. So, I don't know. You've had a couple with me, so I tend to try and do a good job, but I was saying before, like, you always know when someone's walked into the room and they haven't done anything on it. They don't know nothing what you're talking about. Or it's the generic ones, the 10-page questionnaire that they ask everyone.
Yeah, but I understand not wanting to go in without a page of notes, because, if you want to feel like a conversation or whatnot. But you've got to have some background of at least, what does this person do?
Yeah.
Who, what, where, when, how, you can't go in blind.
Yeah,
for a half hour.
Listen to the music, read the lyric sheet. That's your baseline, and then you get an idea of what's going on.
For a half-hour interview.
I know. It's like
the album goes. Imagine trying to flub your way for half an hour.
Yeah. With no background at all, I just can't imagine it. And like I said, if that's your paid gig, I'd be like, fuck. He should have been fired for mine, but hey, that's just what I think.
Embarrassing.
That is embarrassing, and it's a blight on all media in this country. It's like, if you're going to say, like, if Channel 7 have $1 million to throw around, send me, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it. It's like, I'll do a better job. Won't get thrown out. Fuck, that's nuts.
You get your money worth.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, Andrew Marshall's gone, what a moron, which is pretty much the universal sentiment here. Shane's gone, not an Adele fan, but a pretty long flight to the UK. No excuse to not listen to her album at least once. Pretty disrespectful to her and his employers. So there you go. Sula says bluffing isn't that difficult like you all think. I listen to metal. So that's a nice sort of wordplay there. Tim's gone. He had one job and he completely fucked it. As punishment, he should have to listen to that album every day for a year. Now, that'll do it. Nicely put, mate. Andrew also says he had an international flight, which is like 17 hours. Load her entire back catalogue on Spotify and listen. That's exactly it. It's not that hard. Lee says maybe he was busy joining the Mile High Club. Well, if he's that big of a dickhead, who the fuck knows what he was doing?
Man, the flight to London is like 18 hours long. Come on. Yeah. He's not doing that the whole time.
No. Or maybe he does it once and that's it. He sleeps for the rest of the time. I don't fucking know. But usually these people have access to, let's say, uppers, and they can get through these things relatively comfortably. Sumalith has gone, okay, maybe the same week that Squid Game was released on Netflix. Jesus Christ. I haven't watched a minute of that.
Yeah, neither.
Have you watched any of that, Tim?
No, but I've seen Total Drama World Tour.
Okay, well, there you go. Nicole says, Adele is an easy listen. It's not like I have to listen to 50 Cent for God's sake. Roy says, according to the host in question, she didn't walk out. But yeah, he had one job. Now, she doesn't need to walk out. She can just call him on it, and that makes the interview go very quickly. Yeah. It's if once that penny dropped, the interview's over. It's just a matter of how long it takes for that train to crash completely. Like it's done. And so once it's figured out, game's over. And someone like her, I imagine, will have no problem quizzing someone on, why didn't you listen to it? Why didn't you come prepared or any of those things, and turning the interviewer table around kind of thing on the bloke. Which would be funny to see the footage. It would be funny to see it.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
I think Sony have the rights to it in part of the contract. I'd love for them just to leak it to fuck them over. That'd be funny for me.
Or even just like the last sort of 10 minutes or so. Like I want to see that bit.
That bit. Yeah, not the whole thing, just that bit. That would be ideal for mine. Alrighty, let's have some more fun. This is actually fun stuff. In the comments, I'm putting a link to our Facebook group, the THRS Lounge. All right. So you want to get in there and share your thoughts on this one. You can do it in the comments here, but it'll be easier to find if you go into the group to let us know what you think there. Roy's got a good comment here quickly though. Leak it to Channel 9. That'd be all right. Give it to the ABC, not to a commercial network. That'd make it just a bit more poetic. If Channel 31 got it, that'd be priceless. So
hey, we'll air it.
I'll air it. I don't care. Yeah, that's right. All right. So in the THRS Lounge today, earlier, we put up a post. I'll read it out to you, saying we try to have a bit of fun every year. We do a torture-themed episode where we sit there, we pick albums for each other. The rule is for us that we have to like it, but we think that it'll challenge the other people on the panel to get through it, or at least to challenge the boundaries. We've had a lot of fun with these in the past. A part of this is always open to the audience as well, which is why we put this question into the lounge. So we just went to the people there saying, what album do you want to try and piss us off with or think will be a challenge for us to listen to? You can give us your thoughts in the comments now, but I'm also going to go through what has been in the lounge post already. So Stephen has gone, Dave, to review Lana Del Rey's Blue Banisters. Now, this is not for individuals, it's for all of us, so I think that can be up there as well. Dennis, of course, went with the Yoko Ono, so he's gone Yoko Ono Warzone.
We did a Yoko Ono album last year. It was fucking awful.
I don't think we need to do Yoko 2 years in a row. I think we can give ourselves a year off on that one. I know it's popular, but I'm not thinking we can stomach that one 2 years in a row.
Or at least like a different Yoko album, like not a dance Yoko album.
Yeah, give us some Björk or something. I could deal with some Björk. Anyway, Captain Beefheart, Trout Mask Replica. That's from Nudes. So I've never heard of that, honestly. Matthew's gone Alice Cooper, and I'm like, I think that's like what everyone's going, huh? Alice Cooper? I don't think that's going to go popularly. But Shane also earlier said Machine Gun Kelly's wannabe pop punk album, so that'd be an interesting one there. Carolyn said
Machine Gun Kelly and Travis Barker.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it at all, so that could be terrifying. Yeah, that could be terrifying. Carolyn, I'm not sure what this one's about. She's on Brothers, the best of. I'm not sure what that's referring to in particular. If you give us more detail, it'll be easier to track down. But then Lee's gone, which you replied to actually. Radiohead Kid A could really be any of their albums, though. Now, Radiohead is a hit and miss.
I have been tempted to suggest Kid A as a potential torture album. It's one of my favorite albums. One of my favorite albums of all time. But I'm not sure how the likes of Dave and Brendan are going to go with that.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, this is we sometimes we get really nasty to each other and target an individual. Like we had one where we all picked on Dave one year. So
I try to pick on Andrew most years, to be fair.
Yeah, well, that's generally a lot of people try and piss me off, and that works as well. So Lee's gone. Tim also said the wrestling album, which is an interesting one. I'm not sure
about that.
Sorry, what?
Actually, you know what we should do? We should do the Randy Savage album. Be a man.
Be a man, Fucking hell. Andrew's gone Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues. I think we're getting some more comments in there at the moment because it keeps refreshing and stuff on me as we do it. Yeah, I got some more comments here to get through. Ramshackle by Alan White. Elias of Sun Helio by John Anderson. Darren's gone Baha Men Who Let the Dogs Out. Oh, my fucking God.
I actually have that album. I have that Baha Men album somewhere here.
Oh, really? Okay. And that's what's happening in the lounge. In the comments over here, what do we got? Okay, there's a few here. Sia's 1,000 Forms of Fear. That's another one there. I haven't listened to anything that she's done.
I don't know. Sia played Lord on South Park, so that's okay.
Okay, cool. TC says need a Creed album review. That could be interesting.
Well, you'll be surprised. That'll be Dave and Brendan versus Dave and Andrew versus Brendan and I.
Don't know about that.
Creed will end up like Nickelback, I think.
Possibly, yeah. To a degree. Yeah, I reckon so. Probably about right, actually. Lee says, I love Kid A. Sunday morning chill out special. Nude says, Captain Beefheart in a review was described as Beefheart making Tom Waits sound like Julie Andrews. That's saying something. Roy has gone Acid Monkey. Shane's gone Steven Seagal has released blues albums. There's a few actually movie people have done that, a few things like that. David's gone, how about Divine Jungle Jezebel? And Roland's gone, so Shame has been an album we like. Otherwise, I suggest Mike Patton's Pranzo, whatever. Now, the thing is, right, that for you guys out there in the audience, it doesn't have to be one that you like. For us amongst ourselves, the rule is we have to like it.
I can guarantee you Dan does not like Yoko Ono.
Yeah. No one likes Yoko Ono amongst us. So that's the reason why it got done was because it's popular audience choice. So what we're going to do, just for everyone to be aware, we're going to go through the comments later on and the lounge stuff as well. So we're not going to try and do it all now. But I will put up a post tomorrow with everything that's recommended in this, let's say by 10 a.m. tomorrow, that's the cutoff. Put it in the lounge, put it in the chat here tonight on the video. And if you want it to be there, it'll be on the short list as a post at sort of like 10:30, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning on our socials for you to go and vote on. Most popular ones go through. So it's pretty much going to be a popularity contest. So get your nominations in now, and then we'll move on from there. Nicole's gone, no Creed, please. Well, there we go. Lee's gone, could do a David Hasselhoff album.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Andrew's gone in honor of Channel 7, the latest Adele album. So that's
for the record, I don't mind. I quite like Adele. So
hey, talented vocal is always going to be a gateway for me. So there we go. Get another one here. Roy's gone David Duchovny has an album. So there's a few killing out. So Sumalith goes, in that case, I challenge someone to enjoy my Patton's Pranzo old transistor. So yes, there we go.
But I mean, we've heard a lot of Mike Patton lately. That's been really good.
We have.
So
actually, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yes,
but yeah, the top of last year was definitely Yoko Ono.
Yeah, that was that made us all want to blow our brains out. That was the winner by far.
There was Nicki had that Good Shard album that was fucking awful.
Oh, that was bad.
That was so bad. What else was there? There was the first Eminem album, which was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, we did.
Everyone kind of canned that.
What is it? The crew one that Nick chose. Remember that one? The one that Nick chose. The crew.
Oh, Two Live Crew.
Two Live Crew. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Two Live Crew. Yeah. That was when we did the Bloodhound Gang.
Did Weezer as well.
Weezer, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been interesting. We've had some interesting choices over the years. Michael has gone. Jeff Goldblum has an album. There's a few there. Shane says Mike Patton can do no wrong. Yeah. Tim says, how about a William Shatner album? Now, his Christmas album a couple of years ago was all right for some of us. Others didn't like it, but that was up there for some of us. Yeah. Whereas Brendan and I loved it. We thought it was hilarious.
We have done Shatner's albums before.
Yeah, we have done. And then, David says the Hoff Metal albums. There's a few there as well. Andrew's gone Fish Out of Water, Chris Squire. Okay, cool. We're getting a few ones coming through now, so keep them coming. We'll go through them all later on. But the best way to make sure I don't miss anything is to put it in the lounge. I know it's sort of a sideways plug to go and join the Facebook group, but at the same time, just you can put a post or comment on the post. I have to join it, just comment on the post, and it's the easiest way for me to keep track of it all. Otherwise, there is a risk that I might miss it because it starts to get spread out in different places. So for those on Instagram, just so you know, your comments don't come through this platform on Instagram. So make sure you get into the other platforms and give us your comments there if you're watching and wondering why I'm not responding on Instagram. That's the reason why. All righty. We're having some fun. Shall we get on to our reviews now before we drag into the hours of the night? All righty. Cool. Give me one moment here. I didn't do my normal thing with the notes before. I didn't copy what I normally copy, so I'm going to do it now. So the first review for tonight is going to be a local band called the Omnific. So in the comments, in the description, all the usual stuff is there for you to go through. The band is the Omnific. The song I'm giving you for your reference track for this one is Fountainhead. This is a very different kind of band. So our first review for tonight is the Omnific with Escapades. 11 tracks, 50 minutes. The debut album from the Melbourne band released October 2021 via Wild Thing Records. Produced by the band with mixing done by Adam Bentley and mastering done by Ermin Hamidovic. 5 tracks were released, including Antecedent and Scurry Funge. They've previously released 3 EPs, and this band is a unique one as they consist of it's all instrumental music done by 2 bass players and a drummer. So there we go. Something different here. We haven't covered anything quite like this before. So Tim, how'd you go?
What more do you need other than bass players and a drummer? Trimming the fat of the band.
I was waiting for that.
Look, I love this band. They're so good. They've got their mechanically genty thing happening. It reminds me very much of Animals as Leaders, to be honest with you.
Okay, yep.
Instead of 9-string guitars and bullshit chords, it's more they're playing on 2 basses, and there's a lot of thumping and plucking. There's a lot of rhythmic hooks in here, and a lot of the way they use their right hand to kind of sort of portray a melody and then sort of go from muting to playing notes. It's really quite remarkable. I thought the lead work was fantastic. I thought, the little touches of piano throughout were really cool. But the other thing that I thought was interesting too was that, like, you'd think, a band of just, 2 bass players and a drummer. It's a surprisingly clean bass tone as well.
Yeah.
Like, if it was me, I'd be blowtorching that bass amp the whole way through. But like, it's super clean. It's really amazingly done, and you can hear every little thing that they're playing, and they play so incredibly well. Incredibly talented band, and I think if you're into this is not going to.
Not for everyone, but it's accessible.
It's not for everyone, but at the same time, like it's not going to be like Malmsteen or Dream Theater, where they're going to take you on this. It's not going to be like Dream Theater. They're going to take you on this long journey. It's not like Malmsteen, where it's just like more is more. Yeah.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, it's not simple either. I think if you like rhythm, you get something out of it. And if you understand rhythm, you get something out of it. Yeah. So I think if you like bands like Animals as Leaders, to a lesser extent, a band like Periphery is probably another gateway into this, or anything, or Meshuggah even, anything that's kind of fast and gentle.
Yeah, if you like the music, if you like the music and not so much the vocals, this is without the vocals kind of thing. It's that. Yeah.
So I like, hey man, if they covered Bleed without vocals, it'd fit right in here.
It'd work, yeah.
So if you're into that kind of, it's worth a check. Like, this is worth a listen for anyone, but just because of how spectacularly unique it is. But again, if you're a rhythm guy, you'll really get a lot out of it. So I got a lot out of it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the unique bands out there. I think they. This is the kind of band that I want to see succeed because they take a shot at the dark. They're doing something that's quite unlike anything else before, and they're succeeding out of it, which really gives me great hope for the future of music. So yeah, I thought this was great. The Labyrinth Chronicles and Fountainhead were my 2 highlights, and yeah, like I said, 9 out of 10.
Nice. Mark, I see your question. We'll address it in a moment. We'll get through this review. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a fan for a second here and go, okay, it's nice to see a local band and someone's wearing a Kansas City Chiefs top, and I'm not the only fucking KC supporter in Melbourne, so that's thumbs up from me for starters. But it's cool you mentioned the rhythm part of this, because as a rhythm player, that's the part that got my attention on this, the push and pull of it all. What I really liked, to counter what you were saying about how the tones, like they've got some meaty tones in there, but not a lot of distortion going on. It's the clarity in the tone is really cool, along with the weight in the tones. But then they've got this synth work going through it at the top end, which really brightens the whole listen up and gives it a nice big 3D immersive kind of a space to listen to. The composition's really cool. It's one of those ones where they've actually got almost chorus-like moments because there's a refrain or something to recall back to and all that sort of stuff too. So the composition makes it accessible for anyone. While showing off their chops, they can fucking play. But the music is still really accessible, I think, for anyone. You don't have to be a prog head. You don't have to be an instrumental person. You can just like music in general. And it's heavy and soft enough at the same time to appeal to just about anyone, to make something you put on. And it'll make you, if you got it in the background, it'll make you go, oh, hang on, what's this about? And you want to go and sit down and listen to it properly. I think it's much more rewarding on the deep listen than it is on just the casual listen. But at the same time, it's all very, very cool. But I liked how they everything has push and pull. The drums on the mixing of this came up and back. So they were more to the forward and then they pushed them back. So that there was just such a cool trick, because not a lot of people do that with the drums. Usually the drums are pretty much set and forget and everything else push and pulls around that. This one is the other way around. The bass was almost set and forget apart from the actual playing dynamics. And then the drums were pushed and faded to sort of bring impact and heat at different times, which is a really neat little trick. I enjoyed that on this one. It's diverse listen. It's no two songs are alike. You got great flow on this one as well. You got some nice groove and darkness in tracks like the Labyrinth Chronicles. I liked, like, it's funny going back to how bottom heavy it all is too. Like but that offset by the synth, I really can't get over how well they did that. It wasn't, and it's not like when you talk about the synth stuff, it's not like the European stuff where it's fucking overpowering and blasting your head off. It's really subtle. It's just atmospheric stuff. And it doesn't need to be there. But if it wasn't there, I think it'd be harder to take in the way it is, if that makes sense. I think it really adds a lot of color and texture to the sound.
It means that, it means that the only like top end of the album is not just the attack on the strings. Yeah, exactly. It gives you something else to listen to, like a softer reference point for that top end.
And they kept the drums in the mids more too. Do you know what I mean? They didn't really EQ bottom heavy or top heavy too much. They kept the mids of the drums there, which helped that just accent and punch come through, which is, again, it's a lot of attention to detail, which makes it sound really nerdy. But the execution is what makes this so enjoyable to listen to, because it's so pleasing on the ear, the whole thing all the way through. I liked Matai in the middle of the album. That built in the way that panning was used on that to give the left and right response was really clever on this as well. But you've got some really beautiful moments. You got some, technical stuff. You got some really beautiful pieces of music in here as well. Like the way that Fountainhead ends and moves over into Dwam was a really nice touch on this one. There's a little interlude title track is the instrumental. Like they're all instrumental, but that's a soft, like minute and a half little circuit breaker for you in there too. If you want something different in your collection, this is well worth checking out. I really did enjoy it a lot. And it's one of those ones where it's a sneaky good one because you'll keep coming back to it because it's so memorable, because it sounds so different. There's no traditional guitar. You've just got a couple of bass. And the way the two bass players played off of each other was really nicely done. So you can hear the different tones, different techniques. Everyone's got their style, and it all really blended nicely. So it's well performed, well captured, fucking well put together. Great little product, this one. So check it out. If you're remotely curious, you won't be disappointed. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Matai, the Labyrinth Chronicles, and Fountainhead as my standouts. So I'll go to the comments here for a second. What do we got here? So Michael says the Omnific are fantastic. Shane echoes that. He says they're incredible. Seen them play with Galactic Empire a few years back. So immersive. And he said he also interviewed them as well. They were an excellent chat. Awesome. I imagine they probably would be there. Yeah. Nicole says, not sure. Different, that's for sure. And that's where, it won't be for absolutely everyone, but I think it's still accessible enough that more people than you think are going to get into it. Mark asked a question. Have you guys heard of the band Ed Guy? I thought it was Bruce Dickinson on vocals at first. So much of an Iron Maiden sound. Really cool, underrated band. You would love to have Dave here right now because he could tell us all about Ed Guy for hours and hours and hours. But yes, we're very much aware of Ed Guy. And I think, well, I'm a fan. I'm pretty sure you are as well, aren't you, Tim?
Yeah, I like Ed Guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're very, very aware. Looking forward to new stuff, hopefully, in the relatively near future. But yeah, Dave is the one you want to talk to about that one. He is all over that one. He's like a rash on that shit. Michael says, I really want to see them succeed as well, Tim, which is nice there. And Andrew says, I like rhythm. I mean, when I had a lot of vinyl, I had an album by the bass player from Yes. So there you go. If you like bass, this is one for you for sure. Yeah, Rowan's gone. Love me some Ed Guy as well, which is a good touch there too. Alrighty. We keep doing it every week, and it doesn't change. Time for another gear change to really sort of fuck shit up now. We're going to move over to Exodus is our next band, and the reference track I'm giving you is Prescribing Horror, which is the new lyric video, I think, released in the last 48 hours. So this is Exodus with Prescribing Horror. That's your reference track for this one. And Tim, you were keen to get into this, so we'll get through the preamble and then we'll throw it to you. So this is Exodus with Persona Non Grata, 12 tracks, 60 minutes, the 11th studio album of the American band, released November 2021 via Nuclear Blast. Produced by the band at Tom Hunting's home studios in California. 4 singles have been released, including The Beatings Will Continue Until Morale Improves and Clickbait. There are guest spots here from Rick Hunolt and Kragan Lum on the track Lunatic Liar Lord. This is the band's second album since Steve Cetro Souza returned to the band after their first since 2014. This was pushed back a little bit because of Tom Hunting's cancer diagnosis, but everything seems to be moving in the right direction there. But Tim, I know you were keen. Did it live up to it?
Well, let me just check quickly because I want to check who was the exact lineup of this.
The lineup on this one?
Yeah.
You've got Zetro on vocals, Gary Holt on guitar, Lee Altus on guitar, Jack Gibson on bass, and Tom Hunting on drums.
Yeah, I thought so. Now, I will admit, this did take me a minute to get used to the vocals.
It's hard.
It's not as harsh. It's a very throwback style of vocal. Okay. Like this is the sort of vocal that you hear on like an 80s demo.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that.
And it's kind of in that. It sits in that awkward spot where it's not quite a high pitched squeal, but it's also not a low grade. It sits right in the middle of the throat, which sounds very painful
like old
to do.
School accept. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Having said that, once you get through that bit and you let your ears adjust a little bit, this is a really rewarding listen. I think it's a proper old school thrash album. They're not too focused on sounding pretty. They're not too focused on being too virtuoso. They're just wanting to play a million miles an hour and get head kicking kind of music. I think The Beatings Will Continue as a title just sums up this whole album very nicely. I thought it was a ripping title, but I mean, like when they settled into it, they had and played a nice melody. They did it really well. And when they wanted to kick your ass, they did it really well. I think this is a cracking thrash album. If you're into thrash at all, you should definitely check this out because this is a ball terror. What else was I going to say? I remember seeing an interview with Gary Holt ages, when he first joined Slayer, really. Yeah. And talking about his guitar tone, and he's just like, well, when he's playing for Slayer, he needs to make an adjustment because he thinks they don't use enough gain.
Yep.
That sums it up a lot when you listen to this album because, I mean, as much as I like Slayer and as much as I like, those kind of bands, there's a harshness to Exodus when they really kick in that you really don't get from a lot of bands. As I said before, they're really not focused on looking pretty. And it's just fantastic to see. I love this kind of raw, dirty thrash, and I loved it. So 9 out of 10 for me. Again, having a good night so far. Prescribing the Horror and Years of Death and Dying were my 2 highlights. But for this one, start from the start and go through the whole thing. I think the whole thing's awesome. Either that or just, include a whole album in a playlist and just, pick whatever comes up, you'll enjoy because they're all great.
Yeah. For mine, it is one of those ones where if you spin it once, it's not going to grab you because you've got to let this one settle on you a little bit. That said, once it does, and for me, I've gotten a knack over the years for if the vocals aren't my preferred, I'll just tune them out. But that said, I didn't tune these ones out entirely because they suit. And once you get into it, because the guitar work on this is a fucking really big gateway for me, which is I don't normally speak to that a lot. But the lead work and the way it was the dual guitars, and you had them panned left and right, so you could actually it gave you the 3D effect of like they're battling on stage against each other, and it was a real showpiece, centerpiece for this kind of album. And that engages you. And then if you think of the vocals in context of accenting that kind of work, it does a really good job. The way that there's some moments on this that are just pure fist pumping, get your head ripped off in a mosh pit kind of stuff, which is just, you can hear this being fun in that environment. You can imagine them coming down here to Festival Hall and just fucking ripping the roof off the joint, and everyone in the pit's going to be having a great fucking night just chanting and belting along to this sort of stuff. It's not pretty. It's not meant to be. It's intense. It's in your face. The lyrical content will tell you that alone. Like, yeah, when you got a song title like The Beatings Will Continue Until Morale Improves, kind of tells you what's going on. But other tracks like Clickbait show you a bit of witty social commentary as well, which it's a bit of a, we're angry at the world, we're going to tell you all about it, and we're going to fuck off afterward and go to the next town and trash that one as well. This really feels old school in that regard, but the execution in the performance was fucking faultless. Like, I couldn't, like I said, I don't normally go to the lead guitar work, but on this one, it's just riveting. I found myself really getting sucked straight into that. And yeah, it's got that bite, but they've also got these moments where they strip it back and they, not too far, but there's like a little acoustic moment in here at one point as well. There's little bits and pieces on this that just sort of give you that little bit of breathing room, but also there's moments of composition where they not only do that, but they sort of space things out and make it, you get these oases through the listen, which is when you get into the execution of this one on the nitty-gritty level, which is why you got to spend more than one listen on it. It really is rewarding in that regard there. The track I shared before, Prescribing Horror, is like a nice, darker, sort of slower track on this record as well. I think that, if anything, I might have found it a touch too long to begin with, but then once I sat down with it a couple more times, I was like, actually, it's an engaging listen, especially, when you sit down with it properly and take it all in. It's got some grooves, got some swing, it's got some fucking ball-tearing stuff in this. If you like it heavy at all, it's one you got to get through. I think, I can understand the vocals not being for everyone. At the same time, if I can get through the vocals on this sort of stuff, I think pretty much anyone else can as well. I don't think it's as harsh as the first list. Once you get over the initial shock, it'll settle into you pretty nicely, I think. This is one of those ones, if you like old school thrash, give this one a go, because I really did enjoy it as well. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Slipping Into Madness, I fucking love that track. That is a fucking killer track. Love the riff and the sway. When they wanted to settle into a swing, fuck, it went off. Yeah. Also, the beatings will continue, and also Elitist, which is another really smart sort of commentary track there as well. So I did enjoy what they put together with this one. We got some comments here, which is cool. So Shane says, I was pretty underwhelmed by Persona Non Grata. I've only given it one full listen so far, so maybe it'll grow on me. Give it more than one. Needs more than one, I reckon, to fully appreciate it. Do you reckon the same, Tim?
Yeah, like I said, it took me a minute. It took me a few minutes to get used to it. Particularly because there's no real hooks in those first few tracks either. So it was definitely a grower for me.
It's one of those ones where you could almost, if you're struggling, skip to halfway through and then work your way back to the start.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a bit easier to start that way if you're not quite gravitating at the start of the album. Maybe try that and see how you go. Nicole says, I love Exodus, but the vocals are quite torturous in parts. They are up there, but like I said, you do get used to it. Rowan says, this is the Orc's voice from Lord of the Rings. That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's a fair comment. Lee says, love me some Bay Area thrash. You're probably going to be enjoying this one. TC says, I agree with Tim on the vocals. It took me some time to get used to it. Still a quality thrash album, but I'd have the recent Flotsam and Jetsam slightly ahead of this one. That's probably a fair comment as well, I would say. And Shane agrees. Agree that last Flotsam album was a killer. David says, love this album, especially the years of death and dying, which is a tribute to their heroes, especially Eddie Van Halen. So that's a nice one there as well. And Tom also says, David says Tom wrote the lyrics for that one, which is a nice touch there too. Very well done. Thank you for the info there. And Darren says, Sousa's vocals were overly squealy on the last Blood In, Blood Out compared to his previous albums, almost like he was trying hard when he returned to the band. I think that's more a case of age catching up. There are certain vocalists where they force things over the years, and then the more you force it, the narrower the window gets that you've got to get through with the tone that you've got. So I think it's just wear and tear, years kicking on. This is not an easy style to do.
The key to doing this stuff is you've got to do it without forcing it. The problem is a lot of metal singers kind of draw on emotion to get that tone rather than technique.
Yeah, and it fucks things.
So you've got to focus on technique and actually breathing, using your vocal cords properly. Otherwise, it gets real hard.
Yeah, cool. No, I agree. When I was singing a long time ago, I cannot do anything like this sort of stuff. I can't. It actually physically hurts me to try because I was trained classically. So it goes against everything I know about using my voice to go and do things, that kind of stuff. I know my speaking voice is a bit more whatever, but my actual singing tone is very different to that overall. So I cannot do that kind of vocal. And yeah, to force it is painful. And if it hurts, don't do it. There's a general good rule there, I would think. Because there are actually techniques to doing that sort of stuff. Believe it or not, some people don't agree with that, but there are techniques that are important to not blow out your voice with that. Shane jumped in to say, anyone that finds Zetro's vocals grating, jump on Dublin Death Patrol. Co-vocals with Chuck Billy work awesome, so that's cool. Not quite, Darren. Too many years of smoking and carrying on have fucked it, but yeah, Andrew sings like Adele, apparently. No, I was just classically trained as a kid. I haven't done it properly in a long, long time. There's an album kicking around somewhere that no one's ever going to hear, so you can all just suck on knowing you're not going to hear that. Nah, you're never going to. Phil's gone, hey, lads. So there you go. Good to see you here. Thanks for jumping in. You're just in time for the main event. So let's get into the one that everyone's waiting for, and let's see if we are going to agree or disagree or where this is going to go. So the main event for tonight is The Darkness. So the reference track you're getting in the comments and in the description is It's Love Jim. So The Darkness, It's Love Jim. That's your band and reference track as we go through our main event for the evening, which is The Darkness with Motorheart. 12 tracks, 45 minutes for the deluxe edition, which is the 7th studio album the British band released November 2021 via Canary Dwarf and Cooking Vinyl. Produced by band member Dan Hawkins. 4 singles been released, including Nobody Can See Me Cry and the title track. This is the band that's always hotly in demand with us at the show. Every time they do anything, ever since their reunion, they just fucking, every time they drop an album, the audience go, we got to hear this album, got to get the review done. So they've generally done pretty well in the past. There have been some misses, but generally speaking, they've gone all right. Tim, over to you.
I'm sorry, Shane. Shane, you're a top bloke, but I'm sorry.
Oh, here we
go.
go.
Here's the thing, right? All right. Here's the deal, right? The problem is not so much that I don't like this album. The problem is that it sounds like The Darkness, which I just don't like that sound.
Yeah. This is not your traditional sort of thing, this one.
No, it sounds like Marina Pryor got thought out too early for Carols by Candlelight, so they just stuck a guitar in front of her.
Wow, dude. That's a descriptive piece.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna clip that.
So when they sound like a rock band, like It's Love Jim,
yeah,
they actually sound all right. Like, which is kind of annoying because they can do it, but like it's like they're kids who grew up watching their parents, watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show and then never developed a personality of their own, so they just ripped that off. Yeah. So yeah, it's I've said this, but I can't do this kind of operatic stuff that's in a major key. It sounds like a Bugs Bunny cartoon to me, and I just expect the singing frog to jump out and start singing "Hello, My Baby." Juicy's girl.
The comments come through as well, which is funny.
Just be honest, Juicy's girl is pretty cringeworthy as well.
Now, I'll say, yeah, there's some interesting commentary.
I mean, and to find out that this was produced by the singer, ego trip.
By the brother of the singer, not the singer himself. It was by the brother.
Oh yeah, well, is this like the sixth member of the Hives, where it's just the singer?
Wow.
Look, the thing is, right, is with this album, it is just down to taste. Like, when they sound, there's a couple of tracks on here that are okay. Like I said, this Love Jim's all right. The spelling on Welcome to Glasgow,
Welcome to Glasgow. Yeah,
let's spell it phonetically with a local accent. Are these guys from Glasgow?
No. I don't think so.
Probably not. They're probably from, like, Portsmouth or something like complete other end of the country. Am I right?
Fucking Western Supermare, and they're talking about, the northern lands.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're probably from, like, Surrey or something. Like, man, like, this is it. Whether you like this album or not just depends on whether or not you like the darkness. If you heard, I believe, in a thing called Love and you enjoyed it, you'll probably really enjoy this album. If you heard it and thought it sounded like I can't say that. I was going to make a comment about Michael Jackson, but let's not go there. Then it's not going to change your mind. So give it a 4 because like I said, there were a couple of decent tracks on here when they didn't sound like the darkness.
All right. No standout tracks in particular? Nothing that sort of...
No, it's Love Jim.
Okay. Wow. I knew it to go one or two ways, and it went this way. I'm going to disagree with you. I think it's a lot better than that. I'm not saying it's perfect, because I think that Easter is Cancelled is a better album than this one. This one, a lot of their albums... It's funny because with the Motley Crue stuff, and a lot of Motley Crue stuff has a lot of highs with some lows on the records. This one, or the Darkness in general, have these little really big high spots on albums, like previously had, Rock and Roll Deserves to Die. Other ones like, Believe in a Thing Called Love. Everyone knows the big hits, the big high vocal, all this sort of stuff. And so this one, it's an interesting one, and then they seem to have loaded those hits or those impact statement songs at the start of the record, and then it sort of changes to a softer kind of touch as you go through things toward the end. Now, just to give you a bit of a reference, if you're listening to this from a completely blank slate, this has anything from Queen, Foo Fighters, Thin Lizzy, and Duran Duran on this listen. It's got little bits and pieces of that sort of stuff going on in this one. So I think that I don't think they were chasing the dragon in terms of trying to find that ultimate successful thing. They know they've got a good formula. And if you're not following Justin Hawkins on social media, you should, because he's fucking hilarious. And really insightful, too, with his ideas on songwriting, by the way, just for something else there, Tim. But I getting to the technical side of things, I think the mix is really bloody good. I think performances are fantastic. I just think that it's a really good, solid album. I just think they could have tweaked the track order a bit more to have a bit more sort of up and, like, the peaks and troughs I'd always fucking bang on about. That could have been done a bit better. But this one, like, I like the opening track on this, but at the same time, I found myself when I got through it, like, my standouts in this one, absolute standouts were It's Love Jim and Motorheart. Those are the two that I really jumped onto. And then because I always add a third one, it's like, oh, which one's the third? And that's why I think it sort of suffers a little bit by comparison to other albums I've done. Usually you've got enough to sort of keep you interested the whole way through. And not that this one doesn't, but it's not as riveting as previous releases have been. So in terms of, marking them hard, you're also marking them against their own previous work. And that kind of drags things down because they're capable of a lot more than this one too. But for all those things being said, they do a really, really good job overall of this one for mine. If you like it, old school rock with the high-pitched vocal, which isn't overused on this one, by the way, I got to say that. But just like the classic guitar tones and all that sort of stuff going on, the swing and the push that goes with it, this is going to make you happy. It's not going to be for everyone, obviously, but I think that it's probably more accessible than maybe Tim made it sound. Because I like the little details. And there's a female vocal on Speed of the Nighttime. Now, I get there's some cringe-worthy stuff, like Juicy's Girl was a bit interesting, but I like the wordplay in that, for example, because they're talking about, the only thing I changed about you is your last name. And there's little quirky fucking witty remarks in there, which I don't know, because I appreciate the dry sense of humor in it. It kind of appeals to me, so I get a bit of a laugh out of it. But I do enjoy this one a lot, and that might be just because of the English background for me. I don't know what it is, but I think performance is great. It sounds good. It's just a good, solid hard rock record. If you like hard rock music at all, if you're watching us, it's probably an album you want to check out. I don't think, like I said before, it's as good as previous work, and I don't think it'll be a top 10 listen for this year. It's just the caliber of bands is just way too big this year. But it's a good album, and it's one that you'll remember. It's funny how you mentioned at the start of your review how it was like they'd wheeled out Mariah Carey too early and stuck a guitar in front of her. And so,
that's not what I said.
No?
No, I said this was like Marina Pryor singing carols.
Oh, sorry, Marina Pryor. Yes, sorry, Marina Pryor. That's
Mariah Carey is far too good for this.
Yeah, no, you're right. You said Marina Pryor. You are right on that one. I do apologize. You said Marina Pryor. But the idea was it was all to do with carols and that. And I made a note in here saying that for these guys, it's funny how I always get like a Christmas kind of a feel. No matter when they release an album, I get a Christmas feel. There is something sweet or sugary about the stuff they do, which gives you that kind of time of year feel. But for me, I enjoy it. So, I don't know. It's one of those ones where it's obviously going to grab you or it's not. For me, I enjoyed it a lot, so I gave it an 8 out of 10, I think. Yeah, 8 out of 10. I picked It's Love Jim, Motorheart, Welcome to Glasgow. I like the lyrics in that one too, because there's little bits of byplay, like there's a little pub banter in one of the songs later on. At the start of this one, they're talking about how the women are hot, but the beer is, shit in Glasgow and stuff. So there's some nice little witty kind of things which, sort of carry it for me a bit more as well. So it's a good, solid record. I did enjoy it a bit more than Tim did, obviously. So I got some comments coming through on this one, which is I've got to go back a bit. All right, cool. So going back to the start of after I dropped the reference track, Shane's gone again. Please don't shit on the darkness. Well, you didn't get that. So to which once Tim started, he's gone, no, Tim. And so Andrew Marshall has gone, Tim, harsh. Shane's gone, fuck, he's shredding it. And Phil's just laughing away.
I'm sorry, Shane.
Man, don't be. This is gold. Michael has gone, Tim's review of The Darkness is gold. So there we go. That's echoing the sentiment there. Nicole's gone, I can hear all the good musicianship, but not my bag. Always remind me of Mother Goose. In fact, I prefer Mother Goose, to be honest. So there you go. David's gone, it's spot on. So we're getting some different feedback here. Jimmy's gone, cursed by their incredible debut album. Nothing will ever live up to it, and every album they want to be taken back to that. A couple of rockin' tunes, but yep, a couple of face palms here. Love them live. All right, cool. Andrew's gone there from Lowestoft, which is in southeast England, I believe. Shane's gone, Easter is a better album, definitely. So there's that one there. Lee's gone, not sure there is a more divisive rock band. Justin vocals are polarizing for sure, but can belt out some kick-ass rock tunes. The slow-paced tracks generally leave me flat. It's Love Jimmy is one of the top tracks of 21, but find a few highlights elsewhere, which is okay. Fair feedback there. Darren says, I got all the Darkness albums except for Easter is cancelled. I couldn't stand that one. Unlikely I'll even give this new one a go. Good when they rock, when they've gone a bit experimental and mellow, they also seem to be taking the piss a bit more. See, I don't mind taking the piss. I think it's funny personally, but there we go. Brian May's son is a Darkness's drummer, and he's great. I think it's Roger Taylor's son won't be what you're thinking of there from memory, because it's Rufus Tiger Taylor as the drummer. So let me know if I'm wrong, but Nicole says, I sound like a fun, silly band that have perfected their silliness, which is probably fairly true as well. Sorry. Andrew's gone, yeah, southeast, or the map upside down. And Shane's gone, it is Roger Taylor, so there we go. And except for Nickelback, which is a throwback to the most divisive bands of all time. And Roy's gone, yeah, I'm right. I try to be. Yeah, everyone's going Roger Taylor's son now. So everyone's, okay, you can stop the pile, and we've got it worked out. But that's a bit of fun. So let us know how you go with that one, because it's one of those bands that, yeah, it can be divisive. We should do that topic one day on the most divisive bands around. We should bring a list of divisive bands and see how we go with it. But yeah, no, it's one of those bands that gets the funny thing is, because if, for example, Jenny from Riff Raiders, if she was here, she'd be fucking losing her mind at all the negative feedback, because she adores Justin in the Darkness. So, and there's a lot of other people like her that just absolutely go nuts. I know Jimmy's a huge fan for him as well. So there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of love for him.
The thing is, like, when you're a divisive band, it means you're doing something right. I mean, because you sound different from everybody else. I mean, like I said, the reason why I didn't like this is because it sounded exactly like the Darkness, right? Yeah. But the good part about that is the Darkness have an instantly recognizable sound.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, I mean, that can't be said for a lot of bands.
Yep.
And I mean, when you've got that instantly recognizable sound, it makes it like people are going to connect with you, like whether they like you or hate you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. Sorry, I got a chuckle here because Rowan's come in with the dad joke of the night. Math rock would have some divisive bands.
Hey, man, back in the day, 5-star prison cell.
Yeah.
You loved them or hated them.
Yeah, that's true. But that brings us to the end of another broadcast here. So we'll get into the wrap up. Unless there's anything else you wanted to kick the boot in on, or have you kicked it enough?
No, look, no. what I was going to say actually is, if you did enjoy me shredding the darkness, get involved in the torture episode voting and all that, because there's going to be a lot of us shitting on a lot of albums.
Yeah, that'll be happening. If everything goes to plan, it'll be happening on the weekend of December 4. I'm not sure exactly what day yet. Got to line everyone up, but it's in theory Saturday, December 4 is the target for that one. But I'll get to all those things in a moment because we're going to be doing a few different things this year. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add before I do get onto that?
No, all good.
No? All right, cool. So we'll do the obligatory stuff. We'll get onto the bin and the fun stuff to close things out. But a big thank you to our fantastic Patreon supporters. So to TC, Tim Cadison, Lee McDonald here tonight, Sonia, Donabella, Andrew Marshall, 16x9, Beck Mitchell, Carolyn Mallet, Jason Winch, Marty Powell, Sam Biondo, Trash Vegas, Andrew Heyman, Brendan Ellison, Daniel Bateman, Gwyneth Richards, and the Mann family. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out for you for giving us a bit of help there. If you'd like to help us out and get involved in things like voting on albums that we get to cover on the show and things like that, then join that Patreon group. The littlest thing is like $2 a month, and that gets you a whole lot. So you get like daily updates, which give you like 50 tracks a week kind of thing from me, and you get a lot of other stuff there too. So get to vote on different things we do too. So get involved, have a look at it, and if you can help us, that'd be greatly appreciated. On that note, a big thank you to our fantastic sponsors in Scooting, Strengthening, Old Colt, and Rockstar Finance. You can find all their details in the post or the description of this episode, whether you're watching now live with us or watching later on or listening later on. Thank you for your time. But yeah, find them, give them a like, give them a follow, all the usual stuff, give them a bit of a chop out, and our details are there as well. So make sure you follow us on your preferred social media platform and get involved, like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual shit that everyone gets you to do. We're no different. We're going to keep plugging the crap out of it as much as we can. What else? Okay, so getting onto the business end of the year. So this week is probably going to be the last of the regular 2-week streams and that for the rest of the year, because it's the last week of November, obviously, so we'll get through this week. Then I've got to get everything edited up by ridiculous in December. So we're going to probably take most of the first week of December off while I'm off doing that. But we will try and do a torture episode as a live stream event with as many of us as we can on or around the 4th of December as a live stream. And then for the first time, we're going to live stream our top 10s the week after. So it'll be on or around the 11th of December will be our top 10s for the year. We're going to do a live stream of that for the first time as well. We're moving things around a bit this year to make it a bit different. We'll have a top 10 of the decade special, which I'm still working on behind the scenes. That might be coming in January at this point in time, but there is work for that. And there's also an audience choice top 10 sort of stuff to be worked out as well. So stick around, follow us on all the socials for a bunch of opportunities to get your votes in on those different specials as we go through things. Got some more comments. I'll get to those in a second. But if you're watching on TV, check us out on Thursday night, 10 p.m., Channel 44 in Adelaide, and 10:30 p.m. Saturday night in Channel 31 in Melbourne. And this week coming up is our Motley Crue special on Channel 31, which means you'll have 2 hours of that plus a marathon of other shit afterward. And then we've got then it's just rolling into Christmas stuff after that. So you get a different sort of run back of, highlights of the year and stuff coming through in December on TV side of things. Again, follow us on social. I'll keep you up to date with everything on that regard. And so our next special online content-wise will be Motley Crue as well. And then we're into things like Christmas and that too. So there's a lot going on. It's now that pointy end of the year. That's why I'm saying this week's probably the last week for the regular stuff. And then we'll do what we can do to sort of put a bow on the year. And then we'll take a few weeks off and come back in early to mid-January and sort of kick the tires and get into it again. What were we going to say?
If there's any kind of big releases and stuff, we'll probably do like some standalone videos that we could put up.
Or might jump on for like half an hour and do a review of one album kind of thing if there's something big that comes out in that meantime.
Yes, but yeah.
But this time of year, it's just like, yeah, I've got to sit down at the computer for 24 hours a day and get everything edited in time. So it's it gets a little more challenging, but I'll keep up to date with everything on that sort of side of things as well. But make sure you get involved, follow it all, and all that usual stuff there as well. I'll get to some comments before we get to the bin. So quickly, Andrew says, my son was big into math rock for a while. Okay, cool. Shane goes, I want to torture Tim, so we'll have some fun in that space, I'm sure. Andrew's gone, I'm not at work on December 4th, so that would be good. And for the record, that torture stuff isn't going to be your usual, sit down, do reviews like this. We're basically just going to go through them and just basically rattle off what we hate about them, what we love about them. That's pretty much going to be it, to see how much we can get into it and have some fun. We'll try and get
mostly what we hate about it.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Like the goal is like if people like the albums we've chosen, then we failed.
Yeah, that's been the challenge. We usually pick a winner every year, don't we? Just behind the scenes. Maybe we should actually crown a winner on the stream and go, okay, this person won because their album was the fucking hardest one to get through.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to be.
Now you've got a good choice. It'll be a contender, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see how we go with it. All right. So Phil has gone, wonder if I can get this on satellite TV. I know you can tune into our stuff on channel 44 via the live stream online at the same broadcast time. Channel 31 is having some issues at the moment. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'll try and find out this week if I can. But there are ways to watch this online if you can't get it on satellite TV or whatever else have you. And David's gone, Black Label Society is coming out later this week. I would love to get to it if we can. It's one of those ones. There's a few coming out in December that I'm very keen to check out, but it's a case of just making the time for it to work.
Black Label I'm going to listen to anyway, so
yeah, that's it.
I'm more than happy to jump on to do those.
Cool. Oh, we'll work those ones out. There'll be some bigger ones. We'll make sure we target those and work our way through it. If there's anything in particular that comes up, then we do the weekly posts in the lounge anyway, saying what's coming out this week, so make sure you get involved and let us know what you'd like us to talk about in that space anyway. But for now, I think that's getting toward the end of it. Unless there's anything else you want to add there before we go to the bin there, Tim, or are you all good?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's get to it. The fun part of every episode is where we dump something in the bin. So, Tim, what are you getting off your chest today?
More video game shit, man. Like Grand Theft Auto re-release, remastered, just a buggy piece of shit. Like, I don't understand how these, because most of these video game companies are like one bad release away from bankruptcy.
Yes. It's a tight margin.
Oh man, it's fucking awful. Yeah, so that's my main bin. But apart from that, I mean, like I've noticed now coming into Christmas, people are starting to get more Christmassy, by which I mean they're losing patience with each other very quickly, and like they're all sitting right on the edge. It's like, guys, we've all been in a great mood the last few weeks. We've all just come out of lockdown, so let's not fuck it up.
It's like the honeymoon period ended, and now it's like, oh fuck.
Oh, the honeymoon period is well and truly over.
Yes.
So let's see how we go.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you with the gig you've got. I know that's going to be fun for you. So good luck.
Yes, looking forward to it. Actually, guest on a hotel on Saturday night. Second weekend is that they're at full capacity. So check it out.
Yep, that'll be a cracker. So get on down there. There's a few gigs going on this weekend. So get out, see some live music while you can, and send me some videos and footage because I'll be locked at the computer.
Yeah, we'll do.
Work. Yeah, nice. I look forward to it. Alrighty. For my bin, because we're trying to keep these ones as petty and snarky as possible, I'm going to put. I was doing some yard work, and you know when you get the tiniest fucking splinter in the end of your finger, and you can't dig the bastard out because it's too small to fucking dig it, and you got to wait for the fucking base to get infected so you can squeeze it out. That can get in the fucking bin. The end of my finger, I was doing a week ago. I was doing work, and it's still fucked. I've got it out, but then you get that the recess underneath has got to heal away, and it's just fucking annoying. And when you do a lot of typing, that's all you kind of fucking feel the whole time. It's like, fuck off. The most annoying thing in the world is such a small fucking thing, and it can go in the bin. Petty as it is, but it's fuck off. That's annoying.
You are better off getting a big splinter because then you can dig it straight out.
Yeah, you can dig it out. Yeah, the little ones, I just moved, and all it was I moved an actually smooth bit of wood too. So it's one of those ones you don't expect, and it just went wrong, and it got me, and it's like, you fucker. And you looked at it, you try and squeeze it, and it's like, yeah, that ain't coming.
And you can't get the pin to dig it out and stuff either. It's just, no, wait for it and off you go. All right. Got there in the end. It's out now, but fuck, just now you got to wait for it all to fucking peel away the dead skin and get out of it. But oh, that'll come at some point. Got a couple of things here. Lee's gone looking forward to Dead Sea Ruins at Cherry Bar on Wednesday night. That'll be a cracker of a gig. Those guys are always good live, so enjoy. Nicole's got a bin for us.
That's a good room upstairs at Cherry too, to be honest with you. So I quite enjoyed that.
Okay.
It's the old pony bar, but I mean, I quite liked it playing up there.
Cool. All right, I'll have to go and check it out when I can. Yeah, I don't know if this is news to anyone else there, but even news to you, Tim. But because Desecrator are doing their last gig in Jan next year, I might do a whole get together of the whole crew and just go and see that gig as a
perfect
bit of fun, I reckon. Phil's going, cheers, lads. Fuck yeah, Lees. That's cool. Everyone's going to see the gig on Wednesday at Cherry Bar with Dead City are fucking great. So enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole has a bin for us. She's gone the national media in the bin. They're releasing misinformed info or just blatant lies. Not to mention it appears that spelling and grammar no longer apply to them. Completely agree with that. That's some extremely low-hanging fruit and what's come out over the last week or in 48 hours.
I mean,
fucking nuts.
They're confusing Adele with Taylor Swift.
I don't fucking know, man. We're independent community media, and we can get it right more often than the fucking big guns can. That's fucking saying something when you know us and how we do things.
But that's the disturbing part about the Adele story for me. It's like they're interviewing a singer, and they're doing that little research. I mean, what are they doing for important stuff?
Well, that's it's kind of terrifying, isn't it? Especially coming into election season. So without getting too political and things, that's going to be kind of important. Yeah. Anyway, we won't waffle on too long about that because you and I'll be here for hours if we start. But but I think that's about it. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we get on out of here, or are we good to go?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We did get a divisive review in the end, which is always fun to get through. So they're always more entertaining, but hopefully you can give us your thoughts as we go along. These videos stay online, so you can check them out at your leisure. But thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you, Tim, for your taking the time out tonight as well as we get to the busy season of things.
Anytime.
Beautiful. All righty, but we'll get out of the way. We'll see you all again on Thursday night. Until then, though, I'm Andrew.
Tim.
As always,
drink up.
And rock on.